Hi, this is Dr. Mervin, and in this video we are going to see organizing and graphing a quantitative data. In my previous video we had seen organizing and graphing a qualitative data, and this is a continuation of the same. So we are going to learn about frequency distribution for a quantitative data. How to construct a frequency distribution table for quantitative data. How to calculate the relative and percentage distributions. How to graph a group data. The graphs we are going to learn are histograms and polygons. We define a frequency distribution for quantitative data as it lists all the classes and the number of values that belong to each class. The data presented in the form of a frequency distribution are called as group data. This is an example of a frequency distribution table for the quantitative data. The variable is given as the heading in the left hand side. Under variable, the various classes are written down, and I have highlighted the third class. So each class has a lower limit. I have identified and marked the lower limit of the sixth class. The upper limit of the sixth class is marked here. The frequency column is in the right side. So the frequency of a particular class is listed against that class. So here the third class, the frequency here is 39 and it is highlighted here. Now we define a class boundary. The class boundary is given by the midpoint of the upper limit of one class and the lower limit of the next class. So here as an example, the class limits are given in a table. So we are going to write down the class boundaries for each of the class. Here we write down the class boundaries for the first class. The upper class boundary for the first class is given by taking the upper limit of the first class and the lower limit of the next class, that is 600 and 601. So midpoint of these two is going to be 600.5. So we write down the class boundary as 600.5. Similarly, here for the upper class boundary of the second class, value of the upper limit of the second class is 800 and the value of the lower limit of the third class is 801. So midpoint between 800 and 801 is 800.5. So we write down 800.5 as the upper class boundary of this class. Similarly, we continue and finish this off. The last sixth class upper boundary is written from seeing the previous values. The second class lower boundary is written from the upper boundary of the first class. We continue and write down the other class lower boundary from the upper boundaries of the previous classes. The lower boundary of the first class is written by seeing the lower boundaries of the other classes. Next, calculation of class width. The approximate class width is equal to largest value minus smallest value divided by number of classes. Let's see an example of how to organize and graph the quantitative data. So below are the total home runs hit by all players of each of the 30 Major League Baseball teams during the 2002 season. We are asked to construct a frequency distribution table for this data. For the data given, we try to find the approximate width of each class. So here the largest value is 230 and the smallest value is 124. So we write down these values and we choose the number of classes. If it is given in the problem, then you write down the number of classes. Otherwise, we have the freedom to choose the number of classes. When choosing the number of classes, ensure that this does not divide exactly the difference between the largest value and the smallest value. Then your class building will become very easy. So here 230 minus 124 divided by 5 equal to 21.2. Now we round this approximate width to a convenient number, usually to the higher side. So we will round this 21.2 to say 22. Smallest value is taken as the lower limit of the first class. Then our classes will be we have chosen our class width to be 22. The smallest value here is 124. So we add 22 to 124 and we get 146. We have to subtract 1 from 146 and write the value as 145, because when we count we include the 124 also. So 124 to 145 will be the first class. The next class starts from 146. Again, you add 22 to it, we get 168. So we reduce 1 and write 167. So the second class is 146 to 167. Similarly, we continue dividing the classes and we get the third class as 168 to 189 and the fourth class as 190 to 211 and the fifth class as 212 to 233. Now, if you see, the smallest value 124 is in the first class and 230, the largest value, is in the fifth class. So, our class breaking is proper. Now we do the frequency distribution table. So the variable is written in the left side heading. Below the variable, we write down the various classes. So the first class is 124 to 145, second class is 146 to 167, and the third class is 168 to 189, and the fourth class is 190 to 211, and the fifth class is 212 to 233. Now we do the tally. If you don't know how to do the tally, please refer my earlier video of organizing and graphing the qualitative data. So we have done the tally and we got these values. Next, we write down the frequency. So the frequency of the first class is 6, second class is 13, third class is 4, fourth class is 4, and fifth class is 3. The sum of the frequencies is written down and it is equal to 30. Now we have 30 data values in our data set. So this is a cross check for you. If it is correct, then we have done it properly. Next, we try to do the relative frequency and the percentage distribution for the problem. Relative frequency of a class is equal to frequency of that class divided by sum of all frequencies. Symbolically, f by sigma f. Percentage is equal to relative frequency into 100. So let's calculate the relative frequency and the percentage for the previous problem. So in the table, we write down the relative frequency column. So the relative frequency for the first class is 0.2. For the second class, it is 0.433. And for the third class, 0.133. And for the fourth class, it is 0.133. And for the fifth class, it is 0.1. All the relative frequencies are rounded off to 3 decimal points. The sum of the relative frequencies is written down and it is equal to 0.999. This should be equal to 1, but it is 0.99 because of the rounding off errors. Next, we write down the percentage column. So for the first class it is 20 and for the second class it is 43.3 and for the third class 13.3, fourth class it is 13.3 and for fifth class it is 10. Again here the sum of the frequencies is equal to 99.9%. Usually it should be 100 but it is 99.9 here because of the rounding off errors. So with that, the organizing the quantitative variable is over. Now let us see how to graph a quantitative data. The first thing that we are going to do here is a histogram. So a histogram is a graph in which classes are marked on the horizontal axis and the frequencies, relative frequencies or percentage are marked on the vertical axis. The frequencies, relative frequencies or percentage are represented by the heights of the bars in a histogram. The bars are drawn adjacent to each other. Here trying to make a histogram for the relative frequencies. So in the y-axis I take the relative frequencies. In the x-axis I write the total home runs, which is the variable. So the x-axis classes are marked 124 to 145, 146 to 167, 168 to 189, 190 to 211 and 212 to 233. Here the next value starts at the end of the first class value. So it is all written continuously. The first bar is drawn here for the 124 to 145 class and the relative frequency for the first class is 0.2. So the height of the bar is equal to 0.2. The second class relative frequency is 0.433. So I mark the second class here. We continue and mark the relative frequency for the third class and the fourth class and the fifth class. Here, if you see, the bars will be touching each other, and this is the difference between a histogram and a bar graph, which we learned in the qualitative data. The next graph we are going to see is called the polygon. A graph formed by joining the midpoints of the tops of successive bars in a histogram with straight lines is called a polygon. So this is a graph showing the histogram of the frequency distribution, and in that I plotted the polygon. So at the top of the midpoint of the bars I put a dot and then connect the dots with a straight line. So I start from 0, go to the first class midpoint in the graph, and I connect it with a straight line, and so on. So this is the shape of the polygon. I hope I have made the organizing and graphing of the quantitative data easier. If you find this video useful, please like this video and subscribe to this video. Thank you for watching this video.